everybody, this is going to be the first ever installment of You're the Host with Crimson Tips, where we have like friends or family or whoever wants to come in here and has questions to do an interview with anybody. And this is our first time. Our man Wayne is going to be here rattling these things off. So he came up with all the questions. This is all wherever he's coming from, and away we go.
We don't know where he's coming from.
Yeah.
I don't even know where I'm coming from. All right.
Your backup cabinet. Nice.
All right. Well, good to be here, guys.
No,
You know,
thank you.
thank you for having me.
We're here all the time anyway. you're the one going through the aggravation, as it were.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's almost like doing a hand job and one's not getting hard. Anyway, so when did you guys start forming your band, and when and where was your first show?
We started forming it as more of a recording thing because you were still in school. It was 2009.
Was like in 8th grade?
So he was selling Pampers and not peeing straight.
That's exactly,
All
exactly
over the
right.
All over
It was, and we said, well, let's make a record just for giggles, because I had the equipment and everything like that. So we went down the basement, not the basement, in the side room that we had. We fired it up, and some of those songs are still around today. Like Sunday Morning, we still play.
Sunday Morning,
Freedom, we still play. They all came from that.
That's about it.
Yeah, the rest of them we just kind of let die out, but some of the songs
album.
still existed. And then 3 years later, or maybe 2, when you were out of school.
I think it was even more than that.
Yeah, it was around 2012 we started saying, hey, why don't we make this a live play-out thing? And that's where John came in, and boom, we've been going ever since.
First
so
show,
about 5 years now, really.
Yeah, the first show. There's like 3 first shows.
Yeah, it depends on what you consider a show.
Yeah. The first show was at Johnny's, your mom's basement, and that was I still got the poster on the door we put there for that, and that was just for
some
family
posters
and
is still
friends.
on our door. Yeah, you're right.
And then the first show was the Firehouse, where we had like that was our biggest ever crowd.
Yeah.
And
we had 5 people. It was sellout.
I think we had like 100 and... You stopped counting like after like 115 at the
it was around there.
It was like, wow, there's a lot of people here.
Yeah.
But everything that could go wrong kind of did, because the sound system fucking...
The sound system kept picking up a radio station.
Yeah, we were running into problems.
It was like tuning Tokyo.
Yeah.
It
was one of those things.
Yeah, it's a clusterfuck.
I think we bit off more than we could chew for his first time out.
Yeah, well, we
learn the gear more before we jumped into it, but...
That was
a good time, though. I really appreciate it.
No, it was fun. We still appreciate everybody who came. But it was an interesting experience. And then we did the low beat after that, which we played to a more normal crowd of 2 or 3. And
you say normal. I've seen some of those people walk in there.
Yeah. That's just
normal size.
Wasn't that the Fitness All Stars or something like that? What was the name of that band?
Yeah. The National Physical Fitness Award.
National Physical Fitness Award.
And where are they now?
I don't know.
I think I looked them up on Facebook, and they have a thing, and they I think when we played with them, they were like these really fresh-faced kids, and then I saw them as like these bearded dudes. I was like, "Get the fuck out of here!"
Yeah,
but I didn't see any music on there, so I wasn't sure if it was like some other I don't know. But if you guys are out there,
yeah, God bless you all.
God bless you.
Absolutely.
Remember doing it.
Now you said you've been into it for about 5 years or so. What's your biggest dream in the music profession? Like, what is your main goal? Where you want to be?
You guys want to try anything out first? I don't want to always go first.
No, I'll let you start.
Well, just to keep going and growing as musicians, and making better records every
Enjoy
time
it for
out.
what it's worth.
And the business is kind of what the business is. It's hard to ever. It's not like it was the 80s or 90s where you could say, someday we're going to be filling out this or the other and stuff like that.
We went platinum, we went this. Yeah.
I'd go aluminum if I tried that.
That might even be difficult these days.
Yeah. So as long as the music keeps getting better and that people keep having fun, it'd be great if it keeps growing. That's the size that it is. We're lucking out. We're getting on some pretty hefty bills as of late. We're going to be doing the Rubicon thing and everything, which is a great outlet. Nice. So, more things of that nature. But even everybody on that bill, they're still playing the same clubs. Everybody else is. They're still in the low beat and the art places and all that kind of stuff. So it is what it is. But we can't knock it. We get to work pretty regularly. And
at least once a month.
So
we could do more. They're always asking us, but it's availability and stuff like that.
And then the Shea Stadium.
Yeah.
We're going to go right for the gusto. Before you know it, Wimbledon.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not Shea anymore.
Wembley Arena.
It's not Shea anymore.
Yeah, no.
Do you think they're big enough though?
No,
Okay.
not for us, no.
No, as far as you guys, like you play at like the clubs or whatever, like the Lone Beat or Paulie's Hotel or whatever.
Yeah.
Like a bigger venue, like say playing at a fair or some kind of carnival or whatever, where it's like a mass amount of people, hundreds of people,
Right.
You ever thought about doing that?
It would be great too.
I think it'd be really cool.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
I think our music would fit in some carnivals.
Oh, absolutely. It's got to go
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
I mean, they have like 4 teeth, and that's about over. So yeah, I could.
I mean, I would love to play a fair. Sometimes I go to these fairs, I'm like, yeah, there's bands here. Maybe gonna be watching. I go there, and it's 4 people
I
watching.
could just
fucking
see you now.
bands
You'd be
there.
sitting there jamming away, and all of a sudden, roller coaster. Hey.
Yeah. I've seen friends that went out and did shows. We were just talking about that the other day.
Yeah.
I mean, they literally went out of state to do fairs. And they're playing to 12 people. So it's still.
It all depends.
It's still
It
a
all
problem.
depends.
That'd be cool, yeah. Anytime you can get your band's name out there and people see the music or hear the music or whatever.
Absolutely.
We did play a pig roast once.
I did a pig roast
It was
too,
about
but that was a whole
45
different story.
degrees out. It was raining. The people that threw it were awesome. God bless them. They were great people.
Yeah.
But it was a little cold out, a little wet out. It's like we couldn't hear anything.
I was gonna throw it out there. I enjoyed it. I'm glad we did it. That was the roughest fucking show ever.
And we were downwind of the fire that was 6 feet in front of us, so it was like
I
smoke just smashing.
That was the pyrotechnics.
I wore a leather jacket that show, and it smelled like smoke for 6 months.
Yeah.
That was rough.
I just remember my fingers being numb through the entire thing. I'm like,
Fingers
I can't
were
even
numb.
play this thing.
I wore a pair of Converse, and my feet were numb. My hands were numb. My eyes were watering because of the smoke. We were pallbearers in a funeral that morning.
Yeah,
all
we
of
were
us.
at the funeral that
No
morning.
shows after Columbus Day. That's
It was-
outside,
but I mean, it was-
outside at least.
I'm really, in retrospect, glad we did it because I always look if I can get through that show. I can get through any show. Just nothing can stop me.
That was it.
So, performing and all that, what's it like to be the center of attention and have all eyes on you? A lot of people, they get that stage fright or whatever, or, what's it like?
Usually it's kind of nerve-wracking the first time. I mean, the first time I went on camera and there was the couch and they just told me to take my clothes off. And, the first time in front of people, it's a little weird, but it got better with time.
You're supposed to keep that inside now.
Guilty, sorry, I tried it too.
You can't let everybody know how the band really makes money. We don't make money at the
I think,
shows.
like Kyle said, like our first few shows, yeah, you might have had the little bit of jitters, but then, when you start practicing more often and, you have a lot of shows, it just becomes automatic. Like, you don't necessarily see the crowd, I
Right.
mean, we appreciate all the, fans that
Well,
show
bright
up.
lights help, and especially when they're shining on you.
Yeah, sometimes you
Yeah.
can't see the
You can't
people
see
out there.
anybody,
I mean,
that's a good
honestly,
thing.
you're just kind of like, you're just doing your thing, you don't even see what's going on out there,
Yeah, go ahead. No, for me it's funny because when we're playing, I kind of enjoy it and I get into that, but by nature I'm very quiet more. When I got around friends and stuff, it's one thing I like, but when we're out at like the bars and the clubs, I'm kind of like quiet. I just walk around or I sit by myself with my wife and everything because
People are like, where is he? Where'd he go?
yeah, right. Because it's very hard for me to like think of everybody like paying attention to what we're doing. When we're up there, I look at it like it's a job.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like I'm doing my job.
You gotta be
And
serious.
we have to be entertaining, so that's our job.
Right.
But like naturally seeking attention is something I've always kind of like been more shy of. It's just not normal for me.
Yeah.
So if I'm ever quiet at shows, it doesn't mean I don't want to talk to people. I'm just very
Money's shot, and they just get changed.
He just discarded me like I was a used tissue.
That's it. Entirely.
But I mean, I agree. It's a little bit weird being on stage with that. Like, it's weird for me personally because like you're up there, I want all eyes on me, but I'm kind of insecure. So I think, are they laughing at me? So I get more pissed. And then
If he sees smiles, he's not.
I don't smile, and I'm just like, are they judging me? And I just get more angry. But the angrier I get, the better I play. So
I'm the same
See,
way.
that's where I should be now with the next show.
Yeah.
They're like, those shoes don't go with that shirt. Freaking.
If I see like 2 people in the crowd and they like whisper something to each other, I'm like they're talking shit, and I just get pissed. And there's no
Does it make you play
founding
harder?
for
No,
Make it play
rational.
harder.
No
make
rational.
you
Make
harder,
it play
like,
harder.
I got a
Because it's like,
showdown.
now I gotta.
Yeah.
snap to this.
I get the same way. A lot of times we'll be playing. If people aren't paying attention, I'll walk way in front of the band. And I'll just start dead staring at people like, this
Right.
fucking band.
That is
playing.
tough. That's the one thing
You know
that
what I
like
mean? So
everybody's
pretty
like on their phone and you're playing and you're like you did come to see a band. you know, but
Right.
I know not everybody enjoys every band, but you know.
And I try not to get too pissy with them with that.
No, you
because
don't.
I know.
Because you know
I
it is when you're out there, you're doing the same shit.
Yeah,
You're
I
doing
know.
the same-
I know when
it's not-
I'm in the
it's not their
crowd.
fault.
You know, just being in so many shows before the bands, you're in the crowd. And you're just like, I mean, I've sat there almost fucking asleep before, so I try. I try to be too mad at people for that. I put the hood up. I mean, part of this, I get really bad pre-show jitters and bite jitters. I just gotta take a shit if I think about
Yeah,
it.
he has a ritual.
Bring the toilet paper.
And we let him have
And,
his ritual.
and I won't go in these bars, so I'm just like,
Well, you just slide right off the damn seat.
Some have
Yeah.
some sketchy bathrooms.
so I just kind of like sit there and try to avoid realizing I'm in a bar with music. But I mean, it's nice to be, again, I mean, it is kind of weird, like you don't like center attention, but it's nice, you
Where's
know?
that sulfur smell coming from?
Nice, I've let out some
Yeah, it's not
bottles
easy
all
being
day.
downwind from the bass player.
Yeah, he has
no,
moments.
no.
He has moments.
Especially if they're moving back and forth, that's crop dusting.
I usually try to go to a different area if I'm gonna.
You gotta go to
Or
the
outside.
off, but, yeah.
Yeah, I've been known to run outside and say, "Where's Cobb?" Don't worry about it.
Shitting on the corner of State and Central Ave.
I've brought wet ones to shows in case I had to go to the woods or some shit at our place. I ain't gonna front. In the car, I had some wet ones ready to go. I was gonna shit in the woods. There's no lock on the door, and the door faces. So some just, one time I was washing my hands. It's a one-person bathroom. Some dude comes in there and starts taking a leak. I'm like,
In the sink? What do you want?
no, like there's a urinal and a stall, but it's a one-person room.
Remember
Oh,
when you
yeah,
said
okay.
before he started doing
I'm like,
music?
where is he gonna go?
Like, but it was like you could.
Yeah,
I think I might have been wrapping up taking a piss, and he came in. I was like, all right, like we were like no farther than you to me. You know,
That's
one
pretty
Well,
person.
it's almost the same
It was-
thing.
it
It's
was
like
You
you're
can
in a
get
salt.
splashed by that.
Yeah, like I was.
It's like, dude, don't.
I wasn't feeling it, and I just get a little nervous, so I was.
Well, it's like when you're in a bathroom stall and you're taking a leak, and all of a sudden some guy has to come right up next to you when there's like another
look,
stall.
There's,
right
Yeah,
there.
there's
yeah,
stall
there's no
etiquette. Every man knows it's a one stall buffer.
Right.
And if you don't know the etiquette, I don't know.
I mean, I get it. Like,
Either that or they just do it like mine's bigger than yours. Ha! That's what we say to John all the time.
Yes.
Now, all the places that you guys played at, what is the worst venue that you?
Now we have to be political.
Yeah,
We'll probably be playing.
I don't want to call any of them out because we're going to play them all again, over and over again, probably.
The one where you have maybe like maybe the worst setup, or something's going wrong, or the place where
Okay.
you kind of like, I don't know, off the top
We'll
of my
only,
head.
we'll only pick on Bombers because it's closed.
yeah.
But it was on the second floor. The stairwell was about 75
Oh my God.
goddamn stairs carrying these amps up them.
No elevator, no nothing.
And the stage was probably smaller than this carpet.
Yeah.
And it was like, holy shit. But we were determined.
And then a brick wall back here.
Yeah. And we were determined we were going to fit on that
Bombers
fucking
on
stage
Lark Street?
together. Remember
No, the
that?
Bombers in Troy,
Oh, in Troy.
which
Yeah.
is now the beer garden.
Yeah.
Right.
We were like, we're going to fit on this stage. We're going to play this
We're gonna get intimate, boys.
Yeah, this 4-inch fucking stage. We're gonna play on this bad boy, and like the mic stand was like all ready to tip off the end of it.
Dude, I don't think the mic stand was on the. I think they put the mic stand off the stage.
Did
And they just
Yeah.
propped them up in.
It might have, yeah. It was.
Or down
it was
behind the
fucking-
drums, and he has two guys sitting in front of him. It's like, hey,
I was against that wall pretty tough.
Although I will say that place had one goddamn immaculate bathroom.
I like the place. The place was great.
And
That's how Kyle
that
always
is-
judges them.
that is the one place I let loose before
their
a
food
show. and I
sucked, but
felt
that
great.
bathroom was friggin' sure as hell clean.
And
Did
you
you
would
notice-
think, a taco joint might have a messier bathroom.
Well,
but they
think
had a good
about all
bathroom.
that shit and poop and the beans. I mean, my God, that's methane gas going through the walls. Good Lord.
It's yeah.
Him and what?
Did you notice the floor was slanted in Bombers?
It helps you
was
slide into the bathroom when you
Dude,
run.
it's like I was like, is this fucking place structured?
I just
sound?
remember when we first got there, the hostess, whatever you want to call her, not the guy that was
Yeah.
doing the production, but the
Mhm.
hostess kept saying, "Oh, let me know what you're gonna drink. You know, I'm gonna get all your drinks." And we thought like, "Holy shit, we're drinking for free." No, we weren't.
See, that's what
We
he
were
did
not
to me.
drinking
I'll
for free.
talk him out of it. I'm like, you don't want to do this to these boys.
Yeah, that was a great show though because I mean Ralph set that up.
Yeah,
He
that
did
was
an
good.
interview with us at
Yeah,
one
that was really cool.
So it
Yeah.
was really cool of him.
It was,
So
a
that
very,
really
it
good
was
time.
an early show too.
Yeah,
That was-
we were on stage at midnight.
No, I mean, and besides that, I mean, it was one of our first shows.
Yeah.
I think that was the first one after
Low beat.
Roby.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, so
That was a cool venue. Yeah.
But we were still very. I remember just being really nervous every show back then. I remember I didn't play the same. Like now, I play it better because I don't give a fuck. Then I really was like, I gotta sound good, and I sounded worse because I was just so
Yeah.
pent
I
up.
used to get nervous about forgetting lyrics, but now we've been doing it so long.
Yeah, just
I'll
hum.
make them up on the fly, and
Yeah.
nobody ever knows if I'm singing the wrong shit.
Right.
Just set out anything.
Dude, I think one time for She Moves, I was singing lyrics about changing diapers and shit. I don't even know what the fuck. I think you said if you forget, just start singing about something stupid. Like, I think you said diapers. I was like, challenge
Me in
accepted.
the dark room with a candle burning in front of a mirror. Now, some of the venues that you play at, you know, and you're there and you're doing your thing, ever get like a crowd that's like, this works your last damn nerve, you know, or someone in the audience is working your last nerve, where you just want to smack them with a drumstick or a guitar or something?
Not really. The only time I've ever gotten mad is if you're trying to tell the sound man something, and they just like, they set and forget, and they'll like leave. Because, I mean, we had one show, I remember the monitor was so fucking loud in the side of my head, it was literally tearing the side of my face off. And I'm trying to look at the guy like, dude, lower that. But he's over there with like a girl.
Yeah.
You know, that's the only time.
Screw them, they sound alright.
You know,
Yeah.
most of them are always great though. I mean, you never really run into any problems. But that's the only time. We're the guy that pissed in front of
The
me.
guy that pissed
That's
I was
fun.
gonna mention that because I was like, I can't forget that because I didn't mind if you had only pissed and left, it happens.
Obviously, he didn't have stage fright at that time.
But you know, I got off the stage. I'm thinking, oh, somebody spilled a beer, and I'm like, no, this fucking jabroni pissed himself, and my cord's in it. And that's a $10 fucking cord. That's 10 of my dollars.
Probably more than you made for your cut of the show.
It's
that
probably.
night.
No, we got
that was the
we got a
senior
lot
release
of
party.
We got a lot of tips.
Oh yeah, that was the
fucking
new CD release. We
Soldier
money
made
on
Soldier
that.
made it rain that day, so
Yes.
we got a
He
lot
was
of
throwing
cash.
out the bills.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say a lot of cash. A lot of cash. Josh was like, hey, we each made
Hey,
$20.
Yeah, he each made like $35. Holy shit.
That's a lot of money, but it's
Yeah.
funny.
You buy new underwear.
Yeah, it was-
Ever want to have like hot female dancers or whatnot perform on stage with you?
dude, I would
Yeah.
try.
I would.
I really would. Everybody knows that's my angle. Like that's like I'm the tit guy. So
Hence
like,
the name of the band.
I showed both these guys like a video. Did you ever see the movie Doomsday?
Yes.
You know that part where the guy comes out and they're playing good stuff and all
That
that.
was me.
Yeah. And he's got like the fucking chicks swinging around and they're like road warrior looking in bikinis and flames. I'm like, that's what we have to do.
Mhm.
We have no budget, so it's never gonna take place.
It's still on State Street in Schenectady. I'm sure a couple of hookers,
Yeah.
would, you know, come on down.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah, they don't look like the chicks in that movie though.
I think it'd be
I've
awesome.
seen a few of them. They're getting a little rough.
Fucking if it's in Schenectady, just deduct 2 points, man.
Yeah.
Deduct 2 points.
You gotta pay double just if you want like 80% of their teeth there.
We went to a show. Remember when we went to Jane's Addiction in Chains, Alice in Chains?
That was
Yeah.
awesome.
And Jane's Addiction did a show where they had some like female dancing and stuff like that. And like it was like I don't want to say like a burlesque, but it was like
It
there was
was,
something
yeah.
going on in the background. And the way they did it was really awesome. Like it actually made the music really, you know, kind of
I
fit.
love that.
And I'm like, wow, what a cool idea. I mean, something like that, you know,
I don't
possibly
even
work.
like Jane's Addiction, but I loved that show.
That was
I went
such
there, I was
a,
like,
yeah, it was
wow,
really like
that
just
was
how
awesome.
they did it, like, you know, how the girls interacted with the show and they had, you know, different things going on, using the screens. I'm like, that's really cool, like, that's, you know,
Absolutely.
really neat, yeah, really neat.
So, how do you create your music? What inspires you? You know, what gives you that motivation? Just come up with a song, or you just sit there and think about it? I mean, what motivates it?
Literally, I know it's when I have, well, there'll always be jamming, and there'll always be, I sit in a room by myself, usually with like a drum machine, and I'll just come up with hooks and riffs. But it's usually when I know we have to make a record. You know what I mean? I'd be like, okay, let's go into songwriting mode. Because the rest of the time, I'm so, for me, practicing what we do, so that we look good while we do it, that I don't really think about new music until that time comes up. It's like, oh, you want to start throwing around ideas for a record? Okay, and then I'll lock myself in a place and say, all right, let's focus on that. And I'll be like, okay, I'm going to go into writing mode. But and the rest of it is just beating the shit out of which can get monotonous and boring, is beating to death what we do. Just so, my biggest thing that I always like is when people are on stage and they look like they're not thinking and they're not trying. And you should always, to me, look like this is nothing. You know, always look like this is nothing. You're so capable of so much more, right? Even if you're not. But, you know, just make it look that way. So I'm always bashing those songs to death to the point where it's like, I'll take one of our hour and 15-minute sets and I'll go home like every other night and I'll condense it where I play the first verse and then the guitar solo and last verse so I can do it in 35 and just bash it to death. So when we play, it's like second nature. You know, but for the songwriting, that almost comes up when it's that time. It's like, hey, let's go write some songs.
I would agree on my end that it's a necessity, like, because I'll have ideas, and I'm like, hey, half the record's written, what you got done? I'll be like, hit you up in a week. And also, usually being unhappy for some reason, not long term, but, you know, if you had a bad day, it's depressing, my girlfriend doesn't cheat on me, not that I know of anything. And, you know, I could write a lot fucking more, because she'd just fuck somebody else, and then just tell me about it, but...
It'd be like a country song. My dog left me. My
Yeah,
girl
so then we gotta go
fucked
country.
someone.
Do you really want to do that?
Yeah.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah. No, I mean, no, but really...
I jerked off. My hand fell asleep. You know?
I mean, you switch to the other one. Don't miss a stroke.
Start using the feet.
And he writes way differently than me. Kyle puts a lot of thought.
Yeah, I fucking lollygag.
I don't. Like, we'll be having jams down here, and I'll just come up with a verse, chorus, biscuit, just out of nowhere. I'm like, fucking, I would have thrown that on the record. Why now? You know what I mean? It's just real fast. I go really
Well,
quick.
that's like,
I'm out of
even
it.
if you have a song that you put on the record, I mean, you have that set song where you're following what you produced, and then when you're out there performing, you could always add your own little twist where people, if they know the record, they can hear that
Oh,
and
there's
go,
the difference.
wow, there's a little bit of
Yeah.
difference right there. They switched it up, which is
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Or you could just be boring and just play exactly just like the record. Then
One of my
people
favorite
falling
things I've
asleep.
ever heard in my life is Prince did a version of I Could Never Take the Place of Your Man, and he slowed it down like 80%. It was the best fucking thing I ever heard in my life. I always thought about doing that with Fake Friend. I was like, take Fake Friend and just rake it down, like, 50
I
beats
mean,
per minute.
I would try, but we even fuck with a few of them. Like, I listen to the album, especially the NBR songs, we don't play the way we do, to an extent, but, like, there were some changes.
Yeah.
Just because we did weird shit on the album. Like, I listened back to it, I'm like, that was good, but we did some weird shit there. Like, just, the way we'd end songs, I'd be like, why the fuck did we do that? Why would we do that? And
I
then,
didn't care at the time.
yeah, and
But
then,
with the last one, I remember the mantra was, they all have to be songs that you could hear on the radio, they all have to be catchy, and they all have to be like, sing-along choruses. It was like, not to say like going purposely to be commercial.
And like later's gone.
Yeah, it was, but it was meant to be very ear-friendly. Unlike the first two, it was like, we're just gonna do what we want. Fucking people like it, they do it, they don't, they don't. Or the last one was like, we want to do what we want to do, but it has to within the realms of people who want to hear it.
Right.
even with
Absolutely.
that, we fuck with Jack. We play it live. That isn't how it is on
That's
that.
not what we did
Yeah.
now, but
You
but
said
still,
more of like a
ballpark.
Some bands, I'm sure you watch music videos or whatever, or you've seen bands in concert or whatever. Some bands have a video playing in the background. Have you done that or thought about doing that to give your music just a little bit more life? Not saying that you're boring by any means, but I'm just saying. I mean, I fell asleep at least once or twice. That was because I was drunk.
interview over.
Tequila hit me. I was down on the ground.
Louie, you want to take this shit?
Yeah, you want to take this?
I've almost fallen asleep playing up there. I ain't going front.
All right, there's been those nights.
Well, you're looking at John. You're like, oh, no interest.
It's actually funny to ask that because I don't know if you guys remember, but I think there was at least a month of it going back and forth when we did that first Firehouse gig.
Yes.
Right.
And there was like a month
background. Yes.
what's the background gonna be? And we had three. I think you two initially wanted video. I'm always in the back of my mind thinking, I don't want any fucking video.
Yeah, he was so far against
I was like, I just want like a light for each guy and call it a day.
Right.
And then
I
it turned
remember that.
into, well, we should do a big video. And I remember for like 3 weeks, every time we came here, it was like we had a different
we were gonna
idea.
do- because we wanted to kind of make this was our first like reveal of the band,
Right.
and I'm thinking, I don't just want dead space in the background. I want them to just see
Right.
three people. I'm like, we got to do something.
We were in such a big place.
Yeah,
It
but
wasn't like a bar.
Lance
Right.
brought up a lot of good points. Like, well, we don't want to have to worry about technical issues with the video.
Right.
We're trying to play and make sure that the music sounds right.
Right.
So I think when we just ended up coming up with you came up with a picture that was just the band
Yeah.
that just project. So
Yeah,
it was one picture.
I remember
know,
the
so it was-
picture.
It was
you
from
know,
the movie Death Proof, the chick
Yeah.
smoking a cigarette in a bar.
Yeah.
I think I put Crimson Tips
Yeah,
or
you
something
did.
next to it so it looked like it
Yeah,
was in
Because it
neon.
took about 4 weeks to get. Because I remember
Yeah, we were coming up with many different
Yeah, I remember
ideas.
you had some ideas. I remember watching you on your laptop every night.
I had videos.
Yeah,
yeah,
like
videos.
4 or 5. I
Yeah,
remember
videos,
you had
man.
And we were going to
video
loop
on.
them or do this for certain, not like each song had a different video, but like something that could loop through.
Mhm.
But then
Right.
it just became,
It was-
we didn't have to worry,
yeah.
didn't want to worry about that possibly going wrong with while the show's going on. You know what I mean?
Now, what do you think if you did add the video or whatever? I know you guys play with other bands too at certain venues.
Mhm.
Outdoing them a little bit? Because I know I look at some of the other bands and
Mhm.
they don't really impress me too much.
Mhm.
you know, I mean, you guys do, but if you thought about, like, if you did have the background video, you know, would that be outdoing them, or?
One of the things is, I've been called competitive.
Who said that?
But
I don't know if he gives you the pre-show. We're gonna kick the fucking asses, man.
Yeah.
We're here to be the best.
Yeah, that's always. I not with like production, but like and how we're gonna play and how on we're gonna be.
Professionalism and stuff like that.
Professionalism. I'm big into that. So my mentality of every single show is like, if anybody plays after this, I want them to think how we're gonna follow them. And if anybody plays before us, I want them to say, oh, that's how you do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they're so fucking tight and they're locked in and they're making it look easy and they're spot on all the time. So I never really think that much, which we always could, round robin and come up with ideas, but I never really think that much about like the production of stage. I'm so locked into how the band plays and how musically we stack up to other bands.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's like always my main focus. And a lot of times we'll go out there and like, we'll nail it a lot of times. Every now and then you might have a night where a song gets a little bit weird or something like that, but I'm always like that. It's always a war.
I think the only thing too that would keep us from doing it realistically now is that most of the bars, if you're like mid-set, you ain't got time to set anything up like that. You wouldn't have any time.
Yeah. And the venues are tight.
They're
You know,
tight,
like,
they're
trying to get a
small.
screen. I mean, we'd all be in front of the screen, blocking half of it anyways.
Right.
It'd be tough to really do something that would look the way we want it to look.
Yeah, the most I've ever seen another band do is like throw a banner up.
A banner, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that'd be something, that would be kind of cool, if you just had
Absolutely.
a blanket banner or whatever.
Yeah, if we ever did, I think, like another show on our own, or we rented another hall, we could go like whole wild and do whatever we want. Because now, we got the music, we got everything so down, that if we get a little distracted by, what we're working on in the background and having all this shit running, it wouldn't be that big of a thing. In the early days, it was like, man, we better focus on what we're doing, because we're new here, we don't have time to worry about checking
Know
the
your
computer,
music,
checking
know
the
what
shit.
you're gonna do.
So that's
now
why we
we
need a
got
video
that.
production team now. So,
Yeah, anybody wants in, there you go.
So maybe
There we go.
maybe we'll start taking applications.
Every
for
question you
a-
ask is giving you a job, you gotta be careful.
Exactly. I'm gonna be the jack of all trades by the end of this interview, I swear. This kind of goes back to you a little bit, when you said that you take a shit, to make yourself calm or whatever.
I make myself take a shit. I don't take the shit, but I wish I could.
Have you ever had a moment, either one of you, while playing, and then suddenly that call of nature just hits you real hard?
No, I
No.
might have
Well,
to
he
go-
already went.
I
so
might have to
it was
go-
Well, there's an add-on to that. Go ahead, though.
I might have to go before the show, but as soon as I sit down at the drum set, it's like, I don't even think about it. It's like I forgot that I had to go.
I'm
It's
just
like, I don't know what it is. It's like,
Alzheimer's
you're-
too,
Yes, that's it too. But yeah, you're just like locked in, like I gotta do this, and you don't even think, and then once I'm done, I'm like, oh my god, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I have to take a piss or whatever,
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, I mean, I've never had anything like that.
I'm the same way, because if I sit down, it's almost like that adrenaline or that fight or flight that hits you.
that's
You're
it.
like, I'm in this now for the next,
Right. Once you hit that first
hour.
chord.
There's no
And-
taking a break.
and you don't got shit, and even for a while after the stage, man, you ain't got shit.
Somebody talks about shit.
I'm saying, dude, it's true.
You
You
never
ain't got
say he's
shit.
full of shit because he empties out,
And then
good
you
to go.
you get done with it, and you're like, you good for another hour or two after, you're like, yeah, I feel good. And then you get back home, you're like, as soon as you hit the door, it's like, oh god.
He's itching. Oh, this is squishy back here. What the hell? Starts sliding across the floor. That's a good move.
Oh my god.
Ow. How many times have women hit on you, either of you, before, during, or after a show, and possibly propositioned you? And how did you handle that situation? Okay, you ladies can just keep your eyes, ears.
Well, luckily, I don't think we've ever had to handle that situation.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Me and my wife are only, my wife's never not been at a show. So
Right.
I've never had that
So there's more or less
situation
people
happen.
at the show, they already know who you're there with, so they kind of respect that.
It's more of our daily lives.
Oh, you gotta hang
People
your
know
mic
that
out there,
we're
we'll have
rock
people hit
stars.
on you.
People know they're right.
That's when it's hard. You try to go to work or go to the mall, and it's a tip.
There's no
It makes me
bras
sick.
being thrown at.
They have titties. No! Stay away!
We have guys pissing in front of us. There's no one.
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
very few,
I've never done that
There's very
yet.
few women at the shows.
I feel left out. I sit back.
The only bodily fluids we've ever got, and the only parts that we ever dealt with, was a piss and dick. That was about as that was about as far as it
We
went.
need to revamp some things.
Put like a screen in front of you or whatever, you know.
Oh, chicken wire. Yeah, chicken
It goes right through a chicken wire.
I don't know. We'll work
Especially
it
if
out.
I'm in the audience, you know, you play the song and it starts getting to me, I get excited. Hey, like Silence of the Lambs, he flicks it at you, you know. All of a sudden you're like dodging
Well,
stuff.
there was that one time that Judy, we thought was getting hit on by a girl.
Oh, yeah, with Shelley.
Get it, girl,
But it
get it,
ended up
you
being
know.
a friend of theirs.
Yeah,
So that
we
was
didn't know
kind
because she dyed her hair blonde.
Well, you always
So that
say
was
the
kinda
same
funny.
sex knows how to
Recognizable.
please the same sex, you know. I mean, you know, John with hamsters and stuff, you know. A lot of musicians, you know, especially like Metallica, you know,
That's your people.
Seeger,
That is my people.
Metallica's my people too.
Mm.
You know, Cyndi Lauper even, you know.
Mhm.
They all try to like dabble into other genres of music. Have you ever thought about maybe trying to do like a cover song or, you know, create a different style, you know? Like say Metallica, you know, they would go ahead and they'd be like that heavy metal, and all of a sudden before you know it, they'll probably pop out with a jazz song or something, you know, which would throw me for a loop, you know. But have you ever thought about doing that?
On our first CD, we actually had an electronica song on there. Oh, I didn't hear that. That was the second
Rolling,
one.
right?
Yeah, Rolling.
Rolling, yeah.
And what's funny is if I'm not writing music for this, Kyle will tell you, a lot of it is like keyboard-driven electronica
Yeah,
soundtrack music is what I
Yeah.
like to work on. And when it's time for band music, I'll go into that mode. If not, it's more like scoring film type stuff.
Right.
Would interest me. But for the band, it's kind of hard because when you're in a band, we've done covers and we've done weird stuff that
Yeah.
actually works out great. Like,
Yeah.
you know, Superstar, and fucking all those kind of things thrown in there. you
Which
can expect
actually
it.
kind of leads to my next question.
Yeah.
It's
But,
some big name bands such as Metallica.
mhm.
They have done covers of other artists' music and all
Mhm.
that. Have you ever thought about or done covers of other music? Like you
Oh,
said,
yeah.
you have, and they have your own little twist to it because you really can't keep it the same because people they kind of hear that song and it's like, oh, I know where they got that song.
Everybody's
So
done
you
that
add your
song,
own
yeah.
Right.
little twist to it.
I think we've done that a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
we used to do. We used to do a lot more covers when we only had the one and a half albums
Yeah,
to
yeah,
pull
yeah.
from, and we used to do a lot of like. We did a cover of Kiss's Cold Gin, which we would bleed it into one of our own original songs.
Yeah,
I mean,
bleed into it.
obviously
So you have
Superstar.
your twist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we do the, No Sleep Till Brooklyn bleeds into the,
Yeah,
Yeah, we used to
And
do
we-
that. We used to do them separately.
yeah.
That was actually your idea. It's like, couldn't we mesh them two together?
yeah, we
And
figured
it
out-
actually worked really
And even
well.
when we do it Brooklyn, I'll hear it on the radio and I'm like singing with it. I'm like, this is way different than how I
Yeah,
did it.
it is, yeah.
We
So
beefed
we
it up.
definitely make it a little bit quicker, a little bit more heavy. I think with a lot of covers we
Yeah,
Yeah, you tweak them a bit.
I mean, I know, like, even when we do a fucking Green Day there, I don't play the bridge the same. I just keep doing the one line there with Tick's fucking helmets, Tick there. I just
Tick
made
is
up,
different,
I
yeah.
made up the bass line. I didn't know what the fuck.
It's like we like to do, when we were doing covers too, we like to do covers, but I also like to do covers that were less known by a band. You know what I mean? Like when we did ones by The Cult, it was
Or
like
a song that someone
wasn't-
forgot
wasn't-
about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it wasn't like one that would just slap you in the face. Like, you know, if you do a Kiss song, it's like, I don't want to do rock and roll all night. That's what everybody does. You know, let's try to,
Right.
you know, if you do Joan Jett, let's not do I Love Rock and Roll. Let's make sure it's something else. You know what I mean?
You don't want to stumble because a lot of bands they'll kind of pick the same songs to cover. So you go out to like see 3 different bands, you'll hear the same song twice, and it's like, all right, it's not bad, but it's just like you kind of want to pick that one that people aren't expecting to hear.
Right.
Like,
we have always said, if you're gonna do a cover, nail it. And we've seen so many bands that do covers
Yeah,
and don't
not
nail it. So that's the one thing that
Well,
we've
yeah.
made sure
Right.
that we do. If
That
we're gonna
was-
do a cover, we're gonna nail it.
but we also follow another rule with the covers, which is that any band you cover, you can only do one song by them. Sometimes you go to see bands and their original
Yeah.
band, they're like, we're gonna do 2 or 3 by this band. It's like that's fine, but just for we want to do like. We're not that band. We want to give you a song maybe to fill out the time, but we don't.
Right.
Yeah, we don't want to.
You're not a tribute band.
Yeah.
You're not
Right,
a tribute
exactly.
band to
You
somebody.
know,
It's
like Led Zeppelin has a tribute band.
Yeah.
and there's so many
They're
people
really,
that-
really good
that
actually.
you can be that you can
Or
be
Pink Floyd has a tribute
related
band.
to.
Yeah. A lot of them, especially local, they have so many.
Yeah, there's a lot of local tribute bands, and actually there's a lot of bars that cater to that, you know.
Right,
I'd say
absolutely.
that's probably even
Mhm.
most
Yeah.
bars at this point. Because I mean, they bring in the money.
We've even toyed with playing stuff that is just so out of the genre of us. Like every time, remember we were doing like Prince songs and
Windows cry.
yeah, just stuff that.
Dude, one
just
time we didn't do it. We practiced a Little Richard song for like fucking.
That was
Love
fun.
Tutti Frutti, my God.
Yeah.
Not Tutti Frutti.
It was a slip and slide.
yeah,
and we did that.
You
Yeah, we
you
had
had
it
to sing
down.
that song for us.
Yeah, I mean we're all that.
Oh, I'd be the back then.
You gotta do it in drag, though.
Oh, fuck.
That would be fucking awesome.
You're getting tough.
I'll fucking relearn how to do that if we.
Drag? Well,
No,
no, slip and slide.
Hey, he said it, you know.
I'm not opposed.
I'll wear a dress
But
in it too.
Little Richard was the fucking man.
Yeah, that's what I
did
mean.
not want.
I used to see him coming out as Little Rachi, you know, had like a everyone has a favorite musician.
Uh-huh.
All right. Who was yours, and what would you do if they ever came to one of your shows?
Vapor lock and not be able to play.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, mine be a little scary because he's dead. Well, a lot of my favorite people are dead now. But it's probably the same for you. But
You look good for being dead. Thanks for coming.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm a huge Doug Penny fan.
Yeah.
And
He's still alive at least.
He's still alive. Got to
So,
meet him a
that's
couple
good.
times.
I mean, it sounds the
Sweet-
same, but
Well, just
Sweetheart of a guy. And
oh, intimate moment. How sweet.
yeah, good on. And he was,
I
you know,
love you, you're fucking-
it would be awesome to play a show with somebody like that. I'd be scared shitless. Probably the only time I'm really scared, but just
Yeah.
because, you know.
Well, he would be all right. He already taken his shit, so he
Yeah, I got-
he's
I'm
away
good.
with him. You know,
So I-
I'm fucked either
no.
way.
He might be nervous that time too. He's a fan too. So
Yeah, I mean, I got so many, like, it's hard to say this is my absolute favorite. This is, like, there are a roster of people, they came in the show, I'd be like, I was just explosive diver or
really,
something.
really, anybody that was in the industry that made it. I mean, you know, these people have made it. Like, you know, to have them watch you, yeah, I'd be nervous. Anybody.
I mean, certain bands I hate, I'd be like, oh, R.E.M.'s here. Fuck.
It's a great band.
I just don't, like, let me think of someone I'm really, no, fucking R.E.M.'s good enough. But,
Pearl
like,
Jam.
Love Pearl Jam.
I'm
I'm
hit and miss with Pearl Jam. I like some of Pearl Jam and other shit. I'm take it or leave it. But when they write hits, they just fucking hit it out the park. When they don't, they're just not my thing. But
I think it would be scary. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
No, I think it would be scary though, depending on who it was. Because like I think, like if the guys like from Alice in Chains were there, I'd be like, holy shit, the guys from Alice in Chains are. But it would be still kind of fun and great.
dude, I would just start melting.
Yeah, right. Because we're big fans. But at the same time, like if it was like a perfectionist. Like say Prince was in front of you, I'm like, this motherfucker's gonna know.
Dude, if Prince was in front of me
He's
alive,
gonna
He's gonna know everything I do.
I wouldn't even fucking play. I'd like slam my arm in the fucking stall to break it.
Yeah, it's like he's gonna.
Can't play today, guys.
Guy's approaching the mic wrong. He holds the guitar fucked up. Guy's a fucking ape. He doesn't even
Yeah,
get that.
I couldn't.
That kind
I
of
couldn't
thing.
fuck around with that.
So that I think would be a different mode. Yeah.
I've seen on Facebook, you know, I'm friends with all of you on Facebook and all that.
For now.
And I see, for now, after today, it's all downhill. We ain't gonna be a part of friendship. Yeah, for all these years, goodbye. And of course, you being Mr. Political,
I have moments. Yeah.
you do have your moments. You know, kind of have to look at you and go, yeah, him and Trump are brothers. But many artists, though, they have dabbled in political statements. And some have either received a lot of heat from their statement, and some of them have been praised, you know, with their statement. What would be your political statement?
As a band, no. Because I think bands should stay out of politics. I hate when bands get up there and they want to play a this or play for that. I don't care if it's liberal, conservative, whatever. I think they should just stay out of it.
Right.
The music, even the music that we write, we tend to stay far away from politics. We had Freedom was a little bit, but that was even very, very light. Everything else is like, it was, the idea was to be, how can you be something that you relate to everybody on and you don't isolate anybody on? And we have all had fucked up relationships or friendships go bad or things happen and stuff like that. And that's the stuff we write about. So everybody can sit there and say, oh,
You can relate.
I can relate. But if you start getting up there and spouting shit about, political view, now as an individual, if John says something about politics, well, that's awesome. Or if I say something, that's fine, because it's not the band. It's just a guy from
It's your
the
own
band.
personal viewpoint.
But for the band, we're
Absolutely.
probably as non-political as you can be.
Yeah, I totally.
But-
Go ahead.
I think like if a band did something that not political, but like was for a benefit or something like that.
Oh, that's different.
That's different. Like something like that. Yeah, I think the band would be on board with any type of oh hey,
Right.
help.
Well, that was just like with Trump when he was being elected. Toby Keith actually played for Donald Trump, which kind of shocked me a little bit. You know, 'cause I'll listen to Toby Keith. You know, I'm a fan somewhat. You know, but to see him do it with Trump, I'm like, couldn't you have been a little more fucking selective? Who you freaking played for?
Why don't you talk
I'm
sometimes?
Trump, he's not really, you know.
Trump's okay. Trump is just, he says things that basically people are afraid to hear or have been too candy coated by previous presidencies. You know, that's where I kind of give Trump that little bit.
He's like a doctor with really bad bedside manner.
Yes, you know, he's like the type of person,
This is
hey nurse,
true.
come here and help me, and all of a sudden he shits in her hand. Well, that's probably what Kyle will do. You know?
I mean, if I gotta go for a show,
Yeah, he just goes ahead and just does it. Do either of you think that your music can or does inspire you younger musicians starting out?
Oh.
no,
Not at all.
I don't.
They're like, hell no.
I mean, it'd be great. I just, I think a lot of people have heard it. So
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes like somebody come up to you and tell you a great show, and maybe they'll think like, hey, maybe we can, get on par with like something that they did that maybe we're lacking at. Maybe we'll look at another band and say, hey, there's something that they did we should do.
Right.
So like the local bands, I mean, I think we all feed off each other to an extent of saying, okay, that's how they do this, and that's the best looking one here. Let me do something like they do. So hopefully we can do something that somebody else looks at and says, oh, hey, like they're really tight, or they know how to like end a song right. We should do something like that. Hopefully. But do I think somebody's sitting in his room with a boombox like, this fucking speaks to me, man?
Hey, I did hear from that one band who wrote me a letter saying that album is fucking awesome.
I
We listened to it.
recant.
We listened to that all the time. I was so grateful. I wrote him back like, Jesus Christ, guys, thanks.
Yeah, I wear that shirt all the time.
Yeah, you do. You do. But yeah, that's the one thing I think if we make any impact on people is professionalism.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Get up there and do your job. If you don't know how to do your job, you shouldn't be up there. I know it sounds like a
We've
threat.
seen so many bands kind of make a carnival of being up there rather than
Yeah.
playing for the people that are there to see them. And you're kind
Well,
of
you're kind of setting a standard.
yeah,
and
and you're
stuff
like,
that, you know.
people are paying to see you be up there. Don't make a show of it. I mean, we've seen it. We were with a band one time when the guy literally just threw his bass down and walked out.
Yeah, I remember one time we were in Putnam Den. I mean, I'm not going to mention names.
I can't remember the name, but I know the band.
I know their name. I know. I'm not going to mention names, but it was the most
yeah.
unprofessional.
Yeah.
It was just like
They were throwing drumsticks at each other.
Yeah,
It
wasn't-
It got to the point where the drummer only had one drumstick, and he was just.
Well, that was like
I was
Def
always
Leppard.
angry.
He only had one drumstick, and he's there. The other one's kind of, you know.
Yeah, I was actually getting pissed. It was so disrespectful.
It's fun to have fun, but like when you got people watching you and you're getting paid to have people watch you, to an extent, you still gotta do your thing and do it
You gotta
well.
be professional.
And like the one dude, like his guitar's falling off and it keeps falling off, and they just keep laughing like, "Oh, this is punk and rock and roll." I'm like, "No, it's unprofessional and shitty." Look, because you can't make music because your shit isn't up there.
It is good if you're on stage and you're enjoying each other. You know, I mean,
Oh, totally.
If you want to play
have
off each other
fun.
and joke around
Each
each
other's
other,
great.
or if you want to say,
right.
sorry guys, if we're sounding kind of crappy,
Yeah.
John's not doing, but that's his John.
I view it like a sport. Have fun, but win the game. You know?
Right.
Right. Still have that.
And I've said it like a
professional
million times before. To me, the reason you gotta be good is for the people that are paying money that come to see you. Because when I look at it, somebody's going through the aggravation. They're sitting in a warm house. They get out of their warm house on a rain fucking night, get in their car, drive to this place, pay to get in, pay to eat food that's probably going to suck, and drink beer. They could stay home. And they're doing this for us, to help us out. And if they're going through all that shit, the way you show them respect and love is you better be
You better be out there
You better be good.
doing your job.
Because if you're not doing that for them, then they should look at you like you're a piece of shit, and why should we even show up for you? Because you're not treating us right. So,
Right.
you gotta
You're not giving us what we want to see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're doing it and you're making it sound right for them. Because they're going out of their way for you. We're thankful for the people.
Absolutely.
Right.
That without them, you can just sit the fuck down here in the basement and do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, you show the people respect. If you don't show people respect, stay the fuck off the stage. Thank you.
As your public service announcement.
For the day.
For the day. Have either of you thought about, trying or playing with different instruments to make your sound a little bit more unique for a certain song? Maybe add a band member or two, even, or has that, or other talents would, different instruments or whatever from other band members, like say they came in and tried to join in with you on a set. Have you ever thought about that?
I think I like the sound of a full set of instruments, but I just fucking hate people. So
He wants the Schenectady Symphony Orchestra.
No, something like that'd be cool. They're hired, they come in, they do the songs that are, that's different.
Well, like Metallica did on the
Yeah,
S&M
that was-
album
yeah,
there.
that
I mean,
was-
that was pretty sweet.
That's pretty
We used to
cool.
think of letting Middleton jump up at one point.
Yeah,
Just
and
like,
I
"Dude,
love
add an
my
acoustic
do
guitar
some
in here,
vocals or
play song
acoustics,
or
yeah.
something like that. It's hard though, we're such a tight unit as a group. The only thing we used to do that varied way back, for the first 2 or 3 shows or something like that, we did a little acoustic thing in the middle, but we noticed we lost people. Like their interest would wander because it wasn't in their face, it was more laid back. And if you've only got so much time, live, you want everybody to stay into it, you want to keep things. That's why we don't, like one of the things that we never do is, we don't try to talk in between songs. We don't try to do anything that varies. I hate, I went to see a Nickelback show, I was ready to kill somebody. Between every song, he's like, hey everybody, hey, and we're gonna, and I'm like, no dude, hit it fast, hit them hard, keep going. You've got a lot of songs to play, keep them entertained, instead of dicking around in between, so we never.
Well, your big
Yeah, I
thing
mean, you can
groups,
play with the crowd a
they-
little bit and see
Yeah.
what's going on, but you're not gonna you don't have to introduce every song and give them a story or,
Right.
Right.
I totally agree. Certain, especially just because we're not Nickelback, we can't go on there and be like, well, we're the headliner.
Yeah,
We-
you're like 3 hours.
Well, even though we
Yeah.
You got 30
oftentimes at certain places we are the headliner, and they're just like, do what you want. You still want to. By the time, if it's late and we're headlining, everybody wants to go home, so we just want to get through it.
They
And
put in the crowd.
No, mostly the crowd. I want to go home, but I'm like, these motherfuckers want to go to a different bar. And then if we're second bill, you only got so much time, so you'd better be
You
quick.
better be quick. Absolutely.
Get as much of your product out there as you humanly can.
And plus, nobody gives a fuck if we talk to them. I walk off stage, you're gonna talk to me, so
Right.
I'm not gonna butter you up like I'm a different person on stage. It's like, oh, it's Kyle, I'm here.
Well, sometimes even with the band, when they talk to the audience a lot or whatever. Like for instance, Metallica. I've been to several of their concerts or whatever, and sometimes they do tend to talk to the crowd or whatever, and after a while, you're just like, all right, shut up.
Song.
Well,
Get to the song.
I seen a great interview with Jim Cameron from Terminator 2, and he said, I had a lot of, or Terminator 1, he goes, I had a lot to explain about what was going on. He goes, but how do I do it and make it entertaining? He goes, so I made it, the character of Kyle Reese when he's driving, he's a Terminator, I'm with this, I'm going to say it like that. And he said, you do it on the fly, that way you don't lose anybody.
Right.
So we have a song, it's our usually our last song of the night, we call Jack, and during that, the song never stops. It keeps going, but that's when we thank everybody. We tell them how much we appreciate them coming. I introduce the guys in the band, and it's in the song, so that it's not like you're taking people out of it. They're still doing their thing, and you're doing it as part of the show. So I think that works the best
Yeah,
for us.
yeah. When we started doing that, that's just kind of recently with the new album, that we came up with that idea. Yeah, I think it works really well.
Yeah.
Nice. If there was anything that you can change, what would it be? How would you do it? And if it was possible to even do it?
With the band?
With the band, with the music, whatever. After being in it for 5 years, looking back, well, what could you possibly change if there was?
I kind of wish the music industry was 10, 20 years ago, honestly. Just
Don't
because
we all?
I miss giving the tapes out, CDs out, and not that, it was hard work, for bands back then, I never went through that.
They had to bust their ass.
They had to bust their ass. But you got some recognition, and you got, it was a little different. Now, everybody just throws everything up on social media. It's almost like it's faceless,
Right.
It's such a different industry. I don't know, I kind of like how, bands had to gain their admiration back then and now, you really had to grind it out and be at shows and kind of get those people to follow you around.
Absolutely.
And, like that type of stuff. But
Now the whole ballgame is kind of different. But you can bring people in by, I can do a Guitar Gear review or something like that, and it'll get more Facebook looks than a show. You know what I mean? So you got to kind of say, okay, what can we do to get people to where they're like, okay, I see him for that, but oh, they got a band, with a band, so it's kind of just ass backwards, but it's the ball game you got to play,
Right.
no matter what. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, but it'd be easier, it'd be great just to be like, oh, we play and people come, but you have to find ways around the system to the whole ball game. So I don't know.
If I could change anything, I would call it the Kyle V experience. I think we
you know, you can always do a solo album.
well, maybe one day, but not today.
You were gonna do that on the second one, you prick.
Because you were doing shit. No, that's a fucking fallacy.
That's not.
Because I said I want to try making like 9 Inch Nails, even more industrial type stuff, just on my own. And once
Cool.
anything like it, and you're like, oh, are you? Oh, are you? And then you were
How
like,
dare you betray us?
He's like,
No, this
go
is,
ahead and try.
This is the way he, the way I remember it, was he said, we were talking about music and musical ideas, and he said, I'm just gonna go make a solo record.
Bull fucking
That's
shit.
what you said. You said, I'm gonna make a record on my own.
see, this is where your fuzzy memory comes. G-pole, bro. This is
G-pole. What's
G-pole.
G-pole?
I crashed my car and went through the windshield into a G-pole.
Oh, okay. I'm like,
G.
So every time he has like a memory lapse, we make a joke like it's
Not
G-pole.
oh, okay.
And I'm telling you, I had every tattoo was gonna be like a 9 Inch Nails, like industrial keyboard lady, and he's like, yeah, sure, do what you want. And then he make him riff. I was like, oh, that's really good. We should use that. It's a solo album riff. Yeah. And I was like, if you're gonna be like
He's
this,
ownership and all that
and
stuff.
fucking, so that's how
No,
that's how NBR got written. So I guess it worked out.
it was, I remember that, but he said he was going to make one. I said, okay. And then he walked into the room because it was Let Me Be. I was
Yeah.
playing Let Me Be. And he goes, oh, dude, I really like that. And I says, yeah. I said, that's going to go on like my solo record. And he goes, no, fuck that. Let's go on the Crimson Tips record. We're making a Crimson Tips record. I said, okay. And that's how the second
I
record.
think NBR was done within 2 months of that.
Yeah. So that's how the second
from
record
nothing. So that started everything.
This kind of goes back a little bit what you said before, but you guys seem very comfortable when you're on stage, and you're doing your thing. What do you guys do to get to that point? Well, you take a shit before a show.
I don't get to take the shit. It's not true. I'm
hold it the whole
I'm
time.
holding the whole time.
Before we leave the house, I gotta make sure the bathroom's open and ready for everybody. So.
Yeah, that's our pre-show ritual.
Yeah.
While he has a brown snake playing peekaboo with his butt cheeks.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Not quite that bad, but
So, you know, just getting ready for that show to look natural, how do you stop from getting that stage fright? You know, because like I said, you know, I've been to, you know, a few of your shows, and you guys pretty much, you get up there and you do your thing, you knock it out. I mean, what's that really entail? I mean, because younger artists, I mean, they're like, oh my God, we can play if we're down in our basement or whatever, but now if we're going to go out there on the stage, all eyes are on us.
Right.
You know, where you guys just get out there and it's, you know, you're pumping out those tunes. You know?
I think a lot of that is two things: familiarity with what you're doing, because the more you rehearse, the more you're going to know your shit, and the more comfortable you are. So you're not nervous about making a mistake. Or if you do something that's slightly off, you know you can pull your shit together, and it's not going to even be seen.
Right.
And number two is just try to work as much. I know I like to work like once a month. If I do that, like the jitters will never come, and all that kind of stuff. But even studying when we're off for a while, it doesn't really hit anymore. In the early days, we used to get more nervous than I think now, but.
It's almost like a new beginning, starting all over.
Yeah. But now, no, it's just, to me, it's just rehearsing, practicing, and practicing. If I know for me, and I think the band, if we're practicing, we're rehearsed, there's like no fear.
Right.
You know
And
what
I
I
know,
mean?
and that was one of your mantras that you, even before we got out to do any shows, it was, we're not gonna just do, you know, practice for 2 months and then try to go out there and see what it's like. It was like, you know, we put in
We're
almost
probably
a year.
in.
We're like, we're gonna nail this stuff before we even bring it to anybody. Because
Right.
we want it to be that polished, we want it to be that, we don't wanna learn on the road or, you know, learn out there in front of everybody. We
Right.
wanna make sure we do it right here. And I think there's a lot of bands that don't have that mantra. They're like, oh, we just formed a band 2 weeks ago, and yeah, we're
We
ready.
sound great.
We sound great, we're gonna go out, and then you see what falls apart very quickly, because they didn't have that experience of what falls apart when you're practicing and da-da-da.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's what has made us so, you know, together and tight,
Mhm.
you know, through, you know, sometimes even bobbles, you know, you just, you don't necessarily see them, or you don't, you know, we just kinda,
I think that's where it shows the most.
Yeah.
I think anybody can play a set flawlessly, especially in practice, but where your true colors shine is when you do make that fuck up. How
an
do you
amp
react
goes
to it?
out, this happens.
Well, it's almost like
you
you're
know?
improvising, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you have that set thing that you're going to do, and all of a sudden something happens, and
Mhm.
you kind of like bounce into something else.
Well, you know, the thing is, we're so, it sounds arrogant, but we're so in tune to each other and so tight that if any one guy does something that's off by a thing, we'll just look at each other like, because
It's like an instant look.
nobody else would ever notice it, but we'll notice it. Like if I'm one fret off on a note on a guitar solo, somebody will catch it, or something. You know, like we just know it, and there's no wiggle room with each other. Now, in the public's eye, they'll be like, "Oh, that was spotless. This whole thing was spotless." Well, to us, I'll be like, "Oh, I heard what he did. Or I heard what he did." You know what I mean, like that. But that's, because you want to keep that so part of it contained, again.
Well, the show must go on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and you want people to walk away impressed. If they're not impressed, then
They're
we're
not
doing
going to come back to the next show.
and we're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why we did that year
Yeah.
rehearsal.
That was
We
at
got to
least a
be
year.
so fucking good. For the first time they see us, they're like, wow, these guys, they've been doing it forever.
Absolutely.
For us, it's like practice for a year, and then it's just ego. I'm not gonna lie. Those first few shows, I look back at them, and I just cringe. I'm like, God, I'm so nervous.
Right.
And now every time I take the stage, I'm nervous until I get up there and I hit that first note, and then I think to myself, we are the baddest motherfuckers to ever take this stage. And that's what helps me.
Moab.
The
get
confidence,
through
the
it. Yeah.
cockiness. That's
Yeah,
what
you
Mother of
got-
all bands.
That's good.
Yeah.
When you made that shirt or that logo, that was so funny. The Moab, the mother of all
But
bands.
yeah, that's what, and
That was
then
really
just
funny.
also on top of that, just write simple fucking music. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah.
Not really, but it's just practicing ego.
It's almost like
Yeah.
sex. You do it so many times, and after a while, you actually get good. John's still learning that.
Yeah.
You gotta
It's
have
like-
a little bit of delusion when you go up there, and a little bit of an ego to add it. Because if you don't believe that you're good, you're gonna get scared.
Right.
You're gonna run into a lot of problems. So usually when we do a show, I'm like the walker. Like some guy, like John, talk to
Pacer,
people
yeah.
and hang out. I'm the one who just walks around, and I'm watching the other bands, and I'm taking everything in. To me, it's like getting ready for a title fight. And then, when we go up there, by the time
You're sizing them.
yeah, sizing them. By the time we get up there, my whole mentality is, it's like, we're just.
Knock them out of the water.
Yeah, we're gonna beat the guys. You know what I mean? That's the whole thing, so.
Well, that was like the very first time I ever seen you guys, perform. I was impressed.
Oh, thanks.
I was
Thank you.
really happy with what I heard. And of course, that's coming from a club previously, it's like the techno crap. Then all of a sudden coming up there to, I think it was Low Beat, I believe it was. And I'm just like, okay, well, this is a whole different sound, but it was really, really good, and I didn't really
thank
see too many imperfections or anything like that, if there were any, I mean, because, you guys know what you're gonna do, you understand that if someone makes a mistake, you hear it. Me, I wouldn't hear it,
Yeah.
like you said, but I think you guys do a really good job.
Thank you.
You really,
Thank you, that means the world to
Yeah.
us.
No,
To be honest, I think a lot of the compliments that we've gotten is that even if they don't like the music or necessarily, what the songs are about or whatever, a lot of comments are, wow, you guys are really good, you're really tight, you're together.
Right.
They might not know what to expect, friends, like that don't know us, that you invite for the first time, you say, oh, hey, I'm in a band, you come see us play, blah, blah, blah. They might have that first scare of, oh my God, here's another coworker that has a band, what is this gonna be like?
Shit.
But then they
Right.
come and they're like, oh wow, your band is really good, like you guys are really tight and,
well,
thanks for
the
inviting me.
one good thing about, your band is like, other bands, some of the people, it could be their coworker, or it could be their next door neighbor or whatever. I mean, you guys have a little bit of an edge where, you're all family. So you really feel comfortable with each other, and
Oh, God, yeah.
so you could bust on each other,
Well, you have fun.
like, you have fun with
you gotta
it,
enjoy it,
so it really does make a big difference. It
Oh,
really
thank you.
does.
The greatest compliment I ever heard from a promoter was, he listened about all the bands one night, and he said, Crimson Tips, thanks for your usual excellence. And I said, oh, that must mean that, they expect,
They like what
they
they
know
heard.
what they're gonna get when they put us on a bill. So that kinda meant a lot to hear that, because that's what makes all the hard work, along with how the people feel it, pay off. Thank you for
Thank you,
this.
Wayne, appreciate it, man.
Absolutely.
You know?
You wash that hand? All right.
No.
All right, good.
After last shit, no, it takes one year.
That's why my hand's kind of
The
slid
right
in.
hand's always in back of them, so you don't know.
I noticed that. What was up with
It's the
that?
itch.
Yeah, no, it's,
It's
I
the
had
itch.
I had tea, and then if I don't put it back here, I'm gonna start jerking off. Pretty much is what happens usually. So
There you go.
Wayne's like, all right, interview over.
Yes, thanks for watching, everybody.
Thank you very
Thanks
much.
to the guys. Thanks for Wayne for kicking this whole
And
thing
great
off.
questions, too.
Yeah,
Really
yeah,
good.
he
It
fucking
was
put some thought into this shit.
Don't worry, I'll have more some other time.
Yeah. No, it's like, what color underwear do we wear and shit? It's like crazy stuff. But thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll catch you here, there, out there. Bye. God bless.
Absolutely. Take care, guys. End of my question.
All right.
I want to interview the interviewee now. I have a question for Wayne.
Oh, I
Boy, you really want to hear this answer?
So you came to see us many times. what do you like about us? And
Nothing.
What's your what's your favorite song, or what do you like to see about us when you come see
He's
us?
like, I don't know the names of those fucking things. It's like one big long thing.
Yeah,
There's a whole bunch of names to your songs. In fact, I actually have your CD in my car. Yeah, I'll tell you the truth.
No, really? Cool.
I mean, of course, I look at it and it collects dust and all that, you know. But it's there.
It's not in the player.
It's not in the player, you know. Sometimes
Just
I'll
hanging
put that
on the
CD
desk.
and I'm like, never mind, you know. I'll listen to them in concert. What do I like about you is smooth. You guys are very smooth. You guys are got a lot of talent. You know, I mean, I remember John, you know, hanging. Well, except Kyle, you know, doing the porn shop before the show. You know, but
Best scene of the year.
yeah, you know, he got the money shot. You know, just a couple of dimes. Like with John down in his basement in his old house growing up, you know, he had the drum set or whatever. You know, kind of funny the drum set being so big and John being so little. You know, so you just saw drumsticks going all over the place. So yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, watching the progress of what was to become eventually. You know, so you guys are really, really good.
Oh, thank you. It's hard to hear things like
It does, but thank you.
that. You feel very...
You know, it's just like, you know, other bands, you know, I do listen to them or whatever, and I can be impressed by maybe the sound, but not the song.
Okay, I got you.
You know, when I listen to you guys, you know, I'm pretty much impressed of what I hear as far as the way the sound goes, the way the song, you know, the meaning behind the song or what you're saying or whatever. You know, it really goes very well.
Oh, thanks.
And then we have Kyle here, you know, so anyway.
So if he writes a song about shitting, then you'll be even more.
Oh, I'd be all over it. I'd be like, hey, natural lube.
Jesus.
Even that one hit me hard. Oh, that hit even me.
But no, I really enjoy it. You guys are really good.
Thanks.
Thank you for supporting us.
You know,
Yeah, I was gonna say, we
well, you know,
appreciate
I'll take my donation later.
You gotta come to a lot of shows.
Yes,
We
you do.
appreciate
You and
that.
Louie,
Means a lot.
everybody.
Well, remember the one show I was at Low Beat, I came free as or whatever, and I think it was Mandy who was trying to get your CDs out there.
It's probably the CD release.
She's
party.
pretty forceful about it.
Well, it was kind
no,
of fun.
you were being forceful about
Well,
it.
I was looking at her like, bitch, please, you have nothing on me. Watch this, you know. And I had a whole handful of CDs. And I'm just running up to people. And I'm just like, hey, would you like to buy a CD? No, how would you like to buy a goddamn CD? You know, it's just like, I mean, look at these people here. You know, they want to make money. These CDs
Buy it,
are not-
motherfucker.
Buy the damn
Punch you in the
CDs.
face.
And of course, I have, you know, one drunk guy. He goes like, how much? Oh, he's drunk. All right, $35 for you. And it's a one-time deal. You know, no, I mean,
Why did we only see $3 from that?
look, I had to freaking get some kind of cut of this, all right? No, but I mean, I did go out there and I did get rid of some of those
I
CDs
remember
for
that.
you.
Because I came back and there was like several of them gone. I'm like, we sold that many? And it was because these guys.
Yeah.
You strong-armed them.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of funny too because I remember Mandy, she was there, and of course she was like walking up to the guys, and she's.
You had the
CD,
Krypton
you know?
tip shirt on.
Yeah, she had the
Popping the girls
It was
out.
more like and you know, there's a whole wide thing there.
Titties sell.
Titty
Why
sell,
use
you know.
titties so much?
Well, that's why I had to do aggression. I really had nothing going for me. I mean, you know, buy the goddamn CD. You know, it's like $5 or whatever it was, I believe.
Next
There's
CD's just
three,
going to be a
yeah.
big
You're
nipple on the
low
cover.
ball.
Oh, so it was $3. I'm selling
Well,
for
I don't
$5.
remember what they were. Yeah.
Well, you know, you had to pay for the limo driver and all that, you know, and or Uber.
Yeah.
No, that was a good time there.
That was a good show.
Definitely, absolutely. Of course, walked out of there. Because I think it was actually one of my first shows, and I went to come and see it. I believe it was.
Might have been.
Yeah.
You know, and it was, you know, a closed environment. You know, and of course, I'm walking out of there, and I was like, okay, can these pricks play any louder? You know, what the hell? They're killing me here.
Oh my God, yeah, I hate it.
We feel that.
Yeah, especially for somebody like me with so much hearing issues and everything like that. I'm always trying to find the quietest spot of the stage. But my amp was the farthest.
Where the
from
less
me.
echo was coming back
Yeah,
at you.
yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a lesson for a lot of bands. Loud isn't always good. You know
No,
what I mean?
not at all.
Be
If
good,
you
don't be
can't
loud.
hear the actual, the song itself,
Yeah.
you know, there's a problem with that. Because
Oh,
it just
yeah.
sounds like a bunch of
Exactly.
You know, you gotta hear that. You gotta hear the song.
No.
You know. Another good thing, I remember back one of your shows is you guys were playing, and all of a sudden this one guy, he was at the bar, he was at the Low Beat. Getting ready to leave and walk out. They're not done! You know, friggin' get back down there. You know, he's looking at me. Like, well, you're a bouncer. Well, no, I'm not the bouncer at this bar. I'm the bouncer at another bar. But I will bounce the fuck out of you if you freaking try to take off. You know, so it was kind of funny.
You stand in front of the door, you're like,
I just stand in front of the door.
Set's done.
You know, and it's just like,
See what you go through at a Crimson Tip show?
where you going there, little man?
Once
You know?
you're in, you
It's
never
like a
leave.
tour of duty. When you're in, you're in.
Yeah, absolutely.
people ain't gonna let you
try
in.
to leave or whatever. Oh, we'll come back, and oh, screw you. You know, you're not going. You stay right here. You know? If I have to endure this pain, you are too. No, but it's your shows are really fun. A lot of energy in it, and thank you for that.
Dude, thank you
Very
for
much.
coming.